All right, ladies and gentlemen, joining us now on the Mark Kaye Show, we're very excited to hear from him because he's made some waves the past couple of days, and a lot of people who never knew his name, now they're hearing about him all the time, not just from this show, but from other places. And people who've never probably reached out to their congressperson before, this week find themselves reaching out to their congresspeople, and this is one of them. From District 5, please welcome to the Mark Kaye Show, Congressman John Rutherford. Congressman, thank you so much for being here. How are you?
Hey, thank you, Mark and Hannah. I appreciate the opportunity to be on with you.
Yeah, well, we appreciate you taking the time. We know you're very busy. We know that you had a vote this morning, and the vote this morning, again, same as always, we still don't have a Speaker of the House. And was there a conference meeting afterward, or is there one coming up? What's the schedule for the rest of the day?
It's about to start right now. They're probably doing the pledge and the prayer right now, actually.
Oh, all right.
Well, I've only got a few minutes.
Okay, all right. Well, so we have a couple of questions for you. You've been voting pretty steadily for Steve Scalise. All 3 rounds you voted for Steve Scalise, yet Steve Scalise has not only withdrawn his name from the balloting, but he's also supporting Jim Jordan. So a lot of us are curious what the play is there with the Steve Scalise vote.
Yeah, what you're hearing, Mark, is these votes are actually against Jim Jordan.
Right.
Look, but the reason that I'm voting for Steve Scalise is because Steve Scalise beat Jim Jordan in a conference vote in a free and fair election, and Jim Jordan refused to accept the outcome of that election.
Okay.
Steve Scalise won that election, and during his so-called concession speech, Jim Jordan got up and just blew any chance of Steve Scalise being able to get to 217 on the floor.
Was he? Because what we heard.
Accountable for.
Well, what we heard was he had 118 votes in the conference, so he wouldn't have gotten to the 217 without that speech, would he? Or with that speech?
No, that's the point.
Right. So Steve Scalise never had. He never had the 217 votes.
The point is, he won the majority vote. The minority should have gone with him, and Jim Jordan should have led that minority.
Okay.
He got beat by Steve Scalise. That's how it's supposed to work. But now, after what we saw the 8 do, there's this idea that somehow the minority is going to get to dictate to the majority. That's not the way this country works. And in fact, Mark, every one of these members up here, you know how they got here? They won a majority.
Okay. Well, this morning, Jim Jordan had the majority. So based on that system, wouldn't you then want to vote with the majority being the people that are voting for Jim Jordan?
No, this is about accountability now. Jim Jordan lost the election. I'm not now going to reward him by making him speaker.
Okay.
Now this is about accountability. Since he didn't do the right thing in conference and support the majority, there's a strong and growing minority that is not going to support him.
Okay.
That's why I say this is about accountability.
So the majority in Congress, the majority in conference is more important than the majority on the floor during the speaker vote.
It's the same conference. It's the Republicans. We're not worried about the Democrats. They got 210 votes. They can't do anything.
Okay, so you're not going to go with the majority, even though the rule is to go with the majority.
Oh, I went with the majority. No, I went with the majority.
All right. So
Jim Jordan is the one that refused. Jim Jordan is the one that refused to go with the majority. I cannot abide that. So I'm not going to tolerate, and I'm not going to reward bad behavior.
Okay. Have you heard from a lot of your constituents? Because we have here in District 5, we've been getting a lot of phone calls, a lot of emails, and I imagine you have as well. Are a lot of people out there calling you and saying, we don't want Jim Jordan. We want you to teach that guy a lesson because he didn't go with the majority in conference? Or are they telling you, hey, we would like the Congress to get back to work, and we'd like Jim Jordan because, well, he has our same values. What are you hearing from the people?
Yeah, well, here's what I'm hearing. I hear from people that want me to support Jim Jordan which is why, Mark, Hannah, I really appreciate you all having me on your show.
Yeah.
Because it gives me a chance to talk to those constituents. Because I can tell you, the ones that I text back, my reasoning for my vote and how I got to where I'm at, you know what they tell me? Thanks for your principled leadership, hold strong, keep the faith, those kind of things. So once people, and Mark, I can't tell you how many people have contacted me and said, John, I know there's got to be a reason, but good Lord, can you explain it to me? Because I like Jim Jordan.
Yeah.
And by the time I explain it to them, they're like, you know what? That makes perfect sense. I'm with you.
It's the same explanation you just gave us where he didn't go with the majority in conference, and now you're teaching him a lesson.
Yes, that's it. I'm holding him accountable. Yes, and it's not. This is not just for Jim Jordan, Mark.
Who is it for?
Discipline and accountability is not just about the individual being held accountable.
Right.
It's also for all the other members of this conference.
Okay. Well, I guess I'm confused. So what was it other than not supporting the majority in conference? That's the only thing he did, because he has a lot of things that he wants to do as speaker. For example, securing the border, investigating Joe Biden, reducing spending, reducing payments to Ukraine. All of those are on his bucket list. Are all those things that you would support the new speaker taking care of?
Well, you say that, but I'm a little confused on why Jim Jordan failed to vote on the stopgap funding bill then that had securing the border, a 30% cut, and a commission to look at a $33 trillion debt.
Right.
So this is not ideological. This is a leadership issue. This is, honestly, Mark, this is a character issue.
It's a character.
And I saw a character flaw that night that I cannot reward.
Okay. You've, Congressman John Rutherford, joining us, by the way, from District 5, voted against Jim Jordan on 3 ballots. I assume we'll then vote against him on the next ballot as well. What is it that you've said to Jim Jordan because I know he's called you and reached out to you. What conversations have you had with Jim Jordan about the vote and the future vote and him figuring out a way to bridge that gap and get your support?
Well, Mark, this is why I say I see another character flaw in Jim Jordan in that he doesn't listen to you. I have talked to him on the floor.
Yeah.
I talked to him at conference.
Okay.
15 of the no's had a meeting with him yesterday. And believe me, there is absolutely no way he walked out of that meeting wondering, will somebody flip? No, he knew exactly how we were going to do today. And yet he put us through this machination up on the floor at 10 o'clock, another vote, another round. And guess what happened? He only shed votes.
Right.
He shed more votes. He shed 3 more. And believe me, I've talked to people since then on the floor that if he tries another round, it's going to be even worse for him.
But have you talked?
Needs to get out of the way and let us do the people's business.
So who is the person then that the 15 of you would, because you're voting for Steve Scalise, you got the Bucks voting for Emmer. No,
Mark, you missed my point.
No, I understand. It's a vote against Jim Jordan. I get it. But who is the person you would pick, Congressman? If you got 221 people, Kevin McCarthy's out, Steve Scalise's out, Jim Jordan's out. So who's the consensus candidate that you're asking for?
That's who we got to find this weekend.
But you must have an idea.
Through the weekend, I'm not going to throw any names out because what's going on right now has nothing to do with who's going to be speaker. It has to do with moving Jim, holding him accountable, and then we'll figure out who the next speaker should be.
So the Speaker of the House vote has nothing to do with choosing the next speaker?
No, because it's not going to be Jim Jordan.
Okay. All right, Congressman, you supported Donald Trump in 2024. Do you still support Donald Trump in 2024?
You need to follow more closely. I've already endorsed him.
I know. That's what I'm just confirming, because he's endorsed Jim Jordan twice. So I'm curious, again, if you're supporting Donald Trump and you endorse Donald Trump and he endorses Jim Jordan, why are you guys still so far apart?
Because I am voting my conscience on what I saw in the conference. Donald Trump wasn't in that room. He doesn't know the leadership failures that I saw and that I've experienced with Jim and why I can't support him. But I'll bet this. I bet Donald Trump knows I've got a reason.
I bet he does. I bet he does. Well, Congressman, we appreciate it.
Listen, Mark, I got to run. I got to get the conference.
Okay. All right. Well, good luck. We appreciate it. And maybe we'll check back with you. Yeah. Maybe we'll check back with you next week if we're still looking for a speaker. He had to run. He had to get to conference. 855.
Absolutely, brother.
Yeah,
appreciate you.
All right. Bye-bye.